All right, we are live.
Awesome.
Apologies to anyone who's already here. I forgot to send the link to Amanda. And so, but we're here.
Yeah,
Just a
she's
couple
been sitting
minutes
there
late.
vibing, I guess.
Yeah, I was really sitting here like, where? It's getting close. Like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, I was like, oh shit. And then I get a text from you, like right as I was about to like copy it. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I literally sat here thinking, oh, is she okay?
Lord have mercy.
Good to see you, Riza. Hi. So, how has your day been before?
Before we get to the agenda?
Yes.
I've made a lot of alcohol-based decisions in Animal Crossing.
Ah.
I got a new shirt.
I mean, your name is covering it. Is it like a
Boop?
Cute. Very cute.
I was trying to be chill because it's like a lot of titty, but like
it's
not bad.
It's not that much. It's fine.
Okay, what you can't see is that like there's a shelf right here that's just boob. That's what you can't see. Hold on. Let me. Yeah. This is just boob. This is all boob. That's what that is.
But it still doesn't look vulgar. Yeah, it looks good.
Oh, I'm glad they don't look vulgar. I appreciate it. Also, shout out to this new HD webcam. You can see all my pores.
I mean, well, I want to say A, but also I understand.
Yeah, it's been an okay Saturday. It's been an okay weekend. I think my fan fiction is finally wrapping up after 40 fucking chapters.
Oh wow.
Yeah, hey. never ever tell a fanfic writer that what they do isn't valid.
I mean, are people? Well, you know what? Let me know. I was gonna say, are people gonna? Yes, but yeah, people do.
Well, no, I've had people that like know me still do that. Like even like they don't think that they're being mean. But like actually, I'm gonna put him on blast. My best friend did this once. Like, why don't you write your own fiction? It's like fuck you is why. And like he wasn't trying to be malicious. Like that's why I'm willing to say what he said because he was just like he's just asking a question. It's like
I mean, yeah, because I've had that question too. Like, why not? Like, because it's like. You put so much, like obviously people who do, well, I won't say obviously because I know everyone's different. Most of the people that I know who write fan fiction are clearly talented. Like they clearly have the ability to like tell stories. So in my brain, I'm like, oh, well, why not make your own characters? But I think in one of our episodes, I think the fan fiction episode, I feel like we kind of had a conversation sort of.
Yeah, like I mean, I know at least for me, I like fan fiction a little bit more because I'm very much of the camp, like as a writer and scholar, that like everything's already been done. You're not going to write the next Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet exists. Like, that was not intentional. That was, I swear, that was not intentional.
But it works.
It works a little too well. That was not intentional. I will not have you say that was shade. It was not.
No, I mean, it really arguably what I did was shady because I did not have to look at you. I did not have to make.
You didn't have to acknowledge that. You could have let that go.
I really could have.
You could have let that roll, but no.
I really could have.
Now I'm getting the villain edit as I'm here in all black in my memory foam slippers.
But surprise, Cinderella's. I mean, no, I'm just kidding.
I'm over here getting the fucking villain edit. But yeah, like I think that's one of the reasons I like fan fiction a lot. And also just I'm a petty asshole. So like if I think a writer did a bad job, I'm gonna fix it.
Right. Side note, I want to apologize if I'm distracting anyone with my bouncing. Yes, I'm on an exercise ball. It has been excellent for me, but I think someone noticed it in our most recent episode. They're like, "Are you on a bouncy ball?" And I was like, "Yes."
I love how quickly I tuned it out. I wonder what that says. Like, I love how quickly it's just like become white noise to me. It's like that's fine.
You're just like it's you're used to. Yeah, I think several people are used to it, but just in case, I'm going to try to keep it at a minimum. So, yes. Anyway, you were saying before I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. This. But yeah, like that's what I've been doing. I did reading today, which upsets me. So do we have enough people to go over the itinerary for today?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
today live actually has an itinerary. First, we have some housekeeping / announcements. And then second, we have 2 things that we read because of Aisha's birth month. That's all I have to say about that. Starting with housekeeping, subsection 1A. We're panelists at FujoCon.
Hey!
So, something Aisha already spilled.
Well, I wanted to... You know what? Never. There's nothing. There's nothing. Continue.
I think the motto of this stream has just been Aisha Wilden. Which I feel like really realistically is the motto of the podcast 97% of the time. And then subsection Amanda cleans up.
I am going to talk to my therapist about my impulsiveness. So anyway.
So here's Amanda with a broom. Following up on that statement, we'll be posting information soon about like panel time and everything like that. We're hosting a panel on Fujoshi etiquette, which will not just be limited to Fujoshi because we're not sexist in that way. We're probably unfortunately sexist in other ways though.
Unfortunately though, I mean
misandry still isn't great. It's not ideal.
Sure.
Hashtag not all men. I know. Except 90% of them.
Jeez.
Second piece of housekeeping, section 1B. We do have a Discord. Thank you guys so much for being there. I've had a great time. I really enjoy it. I want to do more there with you guys. So yeah, just come hang out. I'm usually there all day because the benefits of my job being online and being a social media manager means that I'm online anyways. So yeah, come hang out. We've had some really, really cool and elucidating conversations. It's everything that I've always wanted.
I definitely lurk. I'm not always like, sometimes I comment, but usually I'm lurking to see what y'all are talking about. And it's very interesting. I have fun reading. Like, y'all have some really, Amanda, I don't know what it is that you do, but like, you just somehow get people talking about like the most like, it's just like a wide array of topics. And I'm like, what am I gonna learn today?
What's the Discord? Literally Google the name of podcast, it should show up. Well, like Discord server search what? You can put in the comments.
Yeah, I can also, while I'm sitting here, I suppose I can. But yeah, Discord is poppin'.
Yeah, I've had a really, really nice time with it, honestly. So thank you guys for helping me stay sane and not judging my questionable taste in music. It's been a lot of Russian disco and like gay club music.
You know what? That actually makes me want to ask you, I'm sure you are a person who watches Eurovision. I feel like, okay, because my ignorance, I didn't know. Of course I've watched that.
Okay, first of all, I'm offended that you assume that I watch Eurovision, but the answer is yes.
You give me very Eurovision.
I'm a Hitalia fan. You can just say it.
You give me very.
I've actually been watching Eurovision in a Discord server with some people in Europe, so it's been great.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm trying to. My camera is in the way, and I'm trying to paste it.
Aisha, it's been 12 minutes.
I was trying. I was trying to post this thing, but my camera was in the way because I have it set in a different spot because I'm on a bouncy ball, and it's just, this is a lot. Okay, it's a lot. Also, I start my period soon, hopefully, and so maybe I'll be back to normal. But Jesus, it's just, I'm going through it. Okay,
which means that I go through it because she absolutely does not suffer alone. If this boat sinks, everyone goes down with it. She's on the sinking bow of the Titanic, shooting down the lifeboats. If she goes down, all those other boats that are trying, they go too.
Listen, I have been trying to just, you know, like, I haven't controlled my impulses, but at the very least, I have controlled my reactiveness a little bit, you know.
I will give you credit for that. I'm acknowledging in front of people. So, I am acknowledging that.
It's baby steps, okay?
I am acknowledging and validating. But so those are our two major pieces of housekeeping. I look forward for you guys to see this panel. This is Aisha's first time paneling.
Yes.
I guess surprise subsection 1C. I'm doing Kasacon at the end of June. So I have been told by corporate to give a social media push, which that was shadier than necessary. I've been informed by corporate that I should be doing a social media push. So I will be on a panel with someone discussing some boys love related material. More information when I have it.
All I can do is when we talked about this, I already said I am so sorry that I didn't.
And that's a conversation that will stay for our patrons only.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the podcast monetarily, and for $5 a month, you get to hear all the conversations that we don't post in public.
That is, listen, it's a story.
I have been told by corporate to push this via social. That is what I am doing. I have fulfilled my obligation as per what corporate has asked.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm so sorry.
I'm more sorry that you managed to get me to not cosplay tomorrow. Because I was going to look good.
I know. I still told you I told you we could move it.
No, we have to edit and everything.
We really do.
And especially knowing that you could be a hormonal monster tomorrow.
It's very possible.
I do not want us to have, I don't want this to be a crunch. So it's totally fine. I will have plenty of opportunities to compress my tits down into menswear.
I want to see, because I'm just so fascinated by the idea that you can begin to smash those things down.
Usually I start with okay. I don't usually do binders anymore. I'll usually start with compression gear. I will corset, and then it's typically layers. Layers are great. That's one of the reasons I love suits. Because I can do a lot of hiding under layers. But a lot of compression gear, because it also helps my spine and my posture. Yeah, I don't do binders anymore. Back in the day, we were just doing straight up fucking duct tape like it was Mulan.
Oh my god.
We were just like Walmart bras and duct tape.
Sorry, I'm chewing these cashews.
You just have so much going on.
I really do.
It's always so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, layers help out a lot. Sometimes I just don't care.
That's fair.
Sometimes
you're just I just don't want to.
Yeah, sometimes I don't want to compress my tits down. Deal with it. Deal with it. I think I didn't really bind when I did Draco Malfoy when I was at home. It's so I'm not binding in my house.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly,
Draco with tits sounds like a thing.
Like,
I
do
can
we
make that
really?
work.
Right? Do we hate it? No.
You
No.
didn't hate it. You certainly didn't
No.
hate it.
No.
Aisha ate well that weekend of just blonde and tits. Aisha ate very well that weekend. But so those are our pieces of business. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Technically, I forgot one thing on the itinerary, which is we're probably going to talk about the episode before we talk about reading. Or do you want to talk about reading and then episode? It's up to you.
Up to the viewers?
You.
Oh.
Co-host that I...
Oh.
You, person I am speaking to. Hoopst I can see.
So, let's talk about the episode first and to see if anyone has any questions.
Yeah.
So that way, because I feel like once we start talking about the other things, you're going to be tired by the So let's get this part out of the way. Plus, it's an incentive for people to continue watching because they want to see your reaction and hear your thoughts.
I'm really starting to feel like a lol cow. Do I have to explain what that is?
Yes.
So a lol cow that's like a Reddit 4chan trolling term where you can milk some people for lulz. And it's usually people who are like unhinged or like mentally unstable, probably neurodivergent. So like it's just it's gross trolling behavior of almost like it's the internet version of poking a bear. Like intentionally going after someone. So when you're doing it, it's called milking the lol cow because you're trying to milk for the lulz. So feeling a little like a lol cow.
I'm not sure why you would feel that way.
You know what? It might be a strange projection.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, but now it's gaslighting, and that's scary.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're not in this relationship. The Kurose, you are not. That has been established.
I can't even do any of that with a straight face.
Exactly. In this relationship, the Kurose, you are not. So yeah, I mean, I know we've talked about the episode a little bit in Discord, but for those of you who have not joined us in Discord or have more to say, this is your opportunity to talk to us about our most recent episode, which was Minors in Adult Spaces. I had a great time recording this episode because I think it's a very important conversation to have. I also think that especially us being able to approach it from two different lenses, where for me I was one of those minors in these spaces, and Aisha having to go through her more recent drama with it. I think those were two important lenses to approach this from.
Yeah. Also the mom perspective too. I kind of threw that in there a lot.
No, and I appreciated it because and I'm also going to assume our listeners appreciated it as well, because like I definitely don't have children, and I can unironically say I'm not very fond of them.
Yeah, I mean most people aren't.
Well,
even people with kids.
I wish more people got to be honest about that, because I feel like that's like a horrible societal ill. Is like, what do you mean you don't love kids? Why would I want a disease-bearing little goblin? Why would I want? There's nothing about this that sounds attractive.
I mean, as much as I love my children, I'm not going to argue with that, because I be telling people all the time, don't do it to yourself. Don't do it.
Like, I wish society had room to discuss that more, because like, it's not just because I'm horribly single. I've never really wanted kids ever. Like, I don't really have like a mothering instinct to me. So I wish there was room in society to have more frank discussions about not wanting children and that being like a major character flaw.
Right.
There was a discussion on BuzzFeed, BuzzFeed, the great source for journalism, that actually like posted something about that. And a lot of it was like, I'm mentally ill and I have trauma. And it's like, that's all valid, but like, you just not want kids.
Right. Instead of having to have this like whole like,
right, like I get it, those are valid. I'm not saying that that's not valid, but like Can you just not want children? Is that an option?
Of course not, especially if you're a woman or you're a person who has a uterus. Like, of course you have to want to have kids. What is wrong with you? What do you
And then I'm
mean?
socially obligated to like everyone's child. That I don't like.
See, I've never been that I will tell you that is
I mean, I'm not that
one
person.
social thing that I'm just like, because I have kids, people think they expect that I'm going to like all kids, and I'm just like, listen, that's not how that works.
I mean,
Get your kid away from me.
It's easy to be momentarily affable, which makes you sound like a sociopath. But like the fact that I am encouraged or that it is demanded of me to care about all children,
Right.
No.
I mean, I care about like general well-being, like as far as like,
yeah, I don't wish them harm,
right? But
like,
it's
I don't wish them active harm. But it's like if I'm in line at Joanne Fabrics and a baby is crying, I'm groaning. I'm not like, oh, the poor baby. I'm like, oh, shut it up. I look like one of those like bad anime idols, like 3 pairs of sunglasses and my mask on. I have on a hood and it's like, make it be quiet.
I shouldn't admit this, but there have been times that I've been in public, like in the past, and people have had like their kids or like in the basket screaming, throwing a fit, and I'll like walk by and be like, you stop that. And they're just like, and then I just keep walking and their mamas aren't paying attention. It's really, I shouldn't do that.
Don't do that.
One of these days is gonna get me in trouble.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, don't do that.
Just like,
also to the comments, yeah, do not hand me your babies. Don't do that. Do not randomly hand me children. I'm gonna hold it like you hold a wet cat, like 5 feet away from me.
That's the thing. Like, what I don't like, and after this, we can segue back to what we were.
No one asked us anything. We haven't. No. There's nothing to segue to.
All right, that's right. Well, in any case, I really dislike it when people who have babies like insist on someone. Like, if someone says no, thank you, I don't want to hold your baby, just listen. And don't try to force your baby on. Like, it's so weird. That's a weird thing that I don't understand why some parents do. I guess they're just super excited about their baby. But I wouldn't want to give my baby to someone who doesn't like, you know what I mean? Like, why would I want to?
Well, like, okay, to make it about fandom, like, don't assume that everyone's going to be that excited about this thing. Like, that's not my baby. I don't care. And like, I say that with love. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm glad that you have this baby. You wanted it, I'm assuming. Like, that's great for you, but like, don't assume that I'm going to be of the same level of enthusiasm as you are.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
don't do that to people. Yeah. Don't throw babies at people. Stop that.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I mean, if you're someone who's throwing babies at people, stop it.
Yeah. That's weird and strange. Especially in the South. Folks did all the time. Folks in the South would like leave their children with strangers. It's like, will you watch my son in line? No.
Like, the South is a different, like, there's just it's different. Like,
we do be wild in the worst ways.
People really will act like y'all have known each other for 10 years.
I hate it so much. Like, I hate it so. Oh my god.
There's so much like trust. Like,
I hate it so much because there's family members I don't feel that way about. What is my fanfic about? It's about 2 gay men from Death Note.
So if you
fill in which gay men you think I'm writing about, because honestly, the answer should be obvious. There is one pairing in that show that I've put my foot onto this ship and I've stayed there for about 10 years. And I have been keeping this ship afloat. It's not a rare pair. I just don't think anyone cares about these characters.
You know, well, I haven't watched Death Note in so long, but I almost want to rewatch it and then read your and then read your fanfic just because, like, because you've mentioned the characters to me, and I just, in my brain, I'm just like trying to like conceptualize them.
I think what's great is I'll go ahead and spoil it. It's Matt and Mello from Death Note, but I think like this is one of the things that is so great about fanfic is that Matt doesn't speak a line until the episode he spoiler dies in. He does not have a verbal line until the last words he speaks before he's shot to death.
And you said, you know,
and what? I said, that is a husband for this blonde sociopath. Mello talks a lot, but it's nothing really of substance. But there's so much subtext. Like, that's the thing. And it's stuff that you don't really have to stretch very far to, like, think about. Because, like, one of the big things is, especially, like, first readings of it, people kind of assume that Matt isn't very smart. Here's the thing. If he's in Whammy's house, 1, he's already of genius intellect. 2, he's number 3 behind Nier and Mello. He's not dumb. Like, objectively, he can't be dumb. He might be a dork, but like, which he is. He's clearly a fucking dork. But like, he objectively can't be stupid. He's 3rd in line to be L. So that's nothing that you need a ton of like stretching to do. That's all canon right there. So I really think that they make a great pairing for fan fiction because there's a ton of information that is canon but is never seen. So like how to read volume 13, which is, I mean, the Bible essentially for any Death Note fan, because that's what as character guide as you get. That gives us so much information that just was not talked about in main series. Probably because they were too busy focusing on their poorly written main character.
I mean, there's a reason why I never really fell into Death Note too hard, because I don't, well, for one, I don't have a fanfic writer's brain, so like I couldn't see past them.
That's fair.
I couldn't see past it. I was like, that's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But when I talk to like fans, like that interests me more. Right. So I can see where people would want to.
Well, and it's one of those things because I did a rewatch when I cosplayed as Mello, and I'm like, wow, this is bad. Like so one thing I hate, I know we're not talking about the episode, but it's
okay.
Writing. I hate when writers feel like they're being clever. And when you can feel it. When you can feel like a writer is like me. Like one of the examples, oh my god, it's J.K. Rowling with some of her names. It's like Sirius Black. Yes, we're going to name him Black Dog Dog. We're going to name the werewolf Lupin. Ooh. It's like, you fucking bitch. You fucking bitch. Like, stop. Like, stop it. Stop. What are you doing? What are you fucking doing? I hate that shit.
Side note, if someone screen recorded that clip, it would have looked like you're saying to me, stop. What the fuck are you doing?
I hate when writers do that. I hate when any writer does that. I have another show that's entirely on literary criticism. I hate it when writers of antiquity do it. I hate it when any writer does it. I don't care if it's the fucking writers of the Bible. Anytime a writer can jerk themselves off because they feel clever, I fucking hate it.
But see,
yes.
Sorry. Well, I was just going to say, I feel like those writers are surrounded by people like me who find they're who is like easily amused. And so I see, and I'm like,
and I'm just seething.
I'm like
you fucking
hyping them up, like,
no,
yes, leave it in. Yes.
No, absolutely not. Oh my god, when it was with Harry Potter, it's like, oh, my name is Sirius Black. Oh yes, Black Dog Dog. Splendid. I had no idea who you were going to turn out to be.
Oh gosh. I just realized that I'm like bad for some people because like I will hype, especially if you're my friend, I will hype you up.
Yeah, some people really don't need support. Yeah, no,
really
that's bad.
It's so
don't
good.
do that. Don't fucking like, do that. Yeah, don't gas people up who don't like, deserve it.
You're not so good.
No, not everyone has a good idea. Some people are bad and stupid. You are the reason like Empress Teresa exists.
Who?
Empress Teresa was an aggressive fanfic written by a man who spent a lot of time writing about this character and then getting in fights with people on Amazon reviews. I don't have time to talk about Empress Teresa. There's a Frederick Knudsen video where he talks about it for 40 fucking minutes. I digress. But with Death Note, that was one of those instances where it's like, wow, you guys really feel fucking clever. So I remember like watching this at like 16, 17, like this is so fucking smart.
Right.
Look at all the pieces. I felt like I was Spencer Reed in Criminal Minds, like putting all the pieces together, even though Elle has this shit solved in episode 2.
Right.
I would like to remind everyone, Elle has this shit solved in episode 2. And we drag on because he got a boner and then died. And then his minions were too stupid fighting each other because they have all of Elle's notes that have a big old circle around Light Yagami that says this shit is caught. And then you get Nier and Mello, who I guess is too busy jerking off his husband, to be like, hey, I wonder who else it could be.
You know, okay, you brought up a good point whenever you said that about being like 16 or so.
Yes.
Like something that I'm sure this conversation gets brought up so many times, but it always floors me when I think about how like in my head, things that I watched or read at 16, like I still have that feeling of like, yes, it's so good. And then when I rewatch it or I reread it, I'm just like, this was definitely written for a 16-year-old.
Oh my god, I had that with Inuyasha. Because like Inuyasha is responsible for the fan that I am today. That was one of the first series that I think like got me writing fanfic, that got me to like lust after fictional characters on like the hand holding and calling you by your first name bullshit. Like
back hugs.
Yeah, it's like a nice hug. No, fuck that. I want you to destroy me. That started my villain lust, honestly. And I went to go rewatch it because I have a lot of the DVDs. I went to go rewatch it. Like, this is bad. This is just bad. Like, not even like in the cute way. Like, this is just not good. And it was a weird moment because yeah, like that's a series that is responsible for who I am as a fan. And it's like, this is not good.
Right. But I mean, but
yeah, like when I was 12,
when you were 12,
years old, this is the greatest thing that God has ever given me.
Exactly.
So what are the questions supposed to be about? Well, I'm assuming that you listened to the episode. And if you didn't, then that's probably where some of that confusion may be coming from. It's not a test. This isn't an SAT.
Yeah. If you have any questions about the episode, we talked about minors in adult spaces and sort of how well, like Amanda said, you know, she talked about how she was once one of those. And I talked more about the incident that the horrible incident. It was awful. I'm still annoyed about it, but the kid, and then also talked a lot about like, I guess we talked a lot about like what we would be like, what we would be okay with, like recommending to teenagers of certain ages.
We spent a lot of time talking about fandom space, which I think is important to mention, because especially in the BL world, like I mentioned this in the episode, so much of your stuff is online. So like the question of like, well, why would minors be online? All your shit's there.
Yeah.
All of your, like, especially now where everything is online, all your shit's there.
That I will say that, like, because I was always, I don't know if I said this in the episode, but I used to be one of those parents who was like, no, kid, like, in part of me still is very much like kids shouldn't be on the internet, but like realistically, like what realistically, we can't just keep them off there, because like
Mm-hmm.
what are they going to do with their lives then? They're going to be bored and not have access to anything. And what if they live somewhere where they anyway? The
And
point
it
is
puts them
that
at
it
a
makes
social
sense.
disadvantage.
Yes,
Like
it
there was
really
this
does.
dumb TLC show that I caught like an episode of where it's I think it's Welcome to Plathville, and it's this like super Christian conservative family, and like the kids don't like they never really had the internet or anything like that, and it's like one of the promo bumps was asking like a bunch of pop culture questions, like they don't know who these people are, and it's like you're gonna get so fucking bullied. Like that's not like it's not okay. Like this is like a form of child abuse almost. Like
Yeah.
like what do you mean?
I watch I know about that because of the psychologist who I watch that does reactions to those, like, and not reactions in like the hyperbolic way, but like reactions like he gives like very thoughtful psychology, you know. And he's been reacting to that show, and oh my gosh, like I almost want to watch the show, but I think it's going to stress me out and make my anxiety go up here, because I think it'd make me angry. Because like as a fan of homeschooling for my kids, I really dislike seeing homeschool kids being isolated like that, because for one, it paints a negative view. It reinforces that stereotype that like homeschooling is weird and homeschool kids are antisocial and socially inept, you know, whereas like my kids are so freaking the opposite, like you know. So anyway, I feel so bad for those kids because they had like nothing. And I think one of the daughters like moved out really early, like at 17, something like that, and so now she's having issues, and I'm just, wow, it's a lot. Ooh,
It is a lot. What? Huh. I don't get this reference.
I don't either. I think I missed out on this. Dang it.
It happens. But yeah, I think it was a good episode again. Like it was an important conversation to have. Mostly just because it's still an ongoing problem, and especially as this like purity culture continues to butt against fandom. Scum System. I've never seen that one.
Ooh.
Interesting though.
Do we need to okay. I'm curious.
But especially as this like anti-ship like purity culture continues to spread its way across the internet, a lot of the rhetoric is surrounded by, well, what about minors on the internet? Well, you shouldn't fucking be here. Like, don't make this about that. Like, that shouldn't be your central argument because you're not supposed to be here anyways. So I had a good time recording the episode. I think it was a good conversation, nuanced as always, or we try to be. We try to be nuanced. I mean, except for the part that's just like Miss Sandra screeching.
That doesn't. I'm not gonna give that nuance. You're like,
there's no nuance to that.
No.
But yeah, we actually got to have some really, really cool discussions about it in Discord, which was really, really fun. We also talked about some possible episodes that I might pitch. Yeah. Which is definitely something that I've been enjoying, is like being able to feel out like, hey, do you guys want an episode on this? Because as selfish of a writer as I am, I don't ever just want to say we're doing this, no questions. Amanda, in previous social media, did you come across the toxicity of youth? I was on LiveJournal. Yeah, it really wasn't that. Actually, I talk about that in the episode. Like, I never really recall that happening, mostly just because I think there was a very quiet understanding that, like, yes, either we all know that we're underage, or a writer who's an adult knows that we're underage, and we're just not going to say anything. There's like an uneasy piece. So yeah, like that's one of the reasons why like this hostility shocks me so much. And I've posted these tweets a few times on the podcast, like Twitter, where it's like, I'm really shocked by this hostility towards fans of a certain age, because it's like, who do you think is making your content?
Oh my gosh.
Like, there was one, it was like on Instagram. It's like, oh my God, there are 25-year-olds that are still fans. It's like, yeah, bitch. Who do you think is making your shit?
Right.
Like, who do you think is writing your fanfic and doing your fan comics and doing your fan dubs and your fan cams and translating your fucking illegally torrented anime? Who do you think is doing that? It's not 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's us who've been doing this since before you were born.
I often wonder, though, is it because are those kids at around the age where like stranger danger on the internet specifically was like really big, and maybe they just because I can't figure out
like kids are like 15, so no,
yeah,
they didn't have
true,
like the Static Shock, stranger danger episode,
right?
Which is one of my favorite things. If you guys don't remember, Static Shock was one of the preachiest fucking shows.
It
was one of the preachiest goddamn shows, and I don't know how they let it do that.
It's because it's a Black show, and I swear
it was the preachiest goddamn show. Like the episode on homelessness, that was the Christmas special.
Moral of the story, okay?
Like, oh my god. Oh my god. Static Shock was so fucking preachy. Is it basic pleases and thank yous missing too? Basic manners. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot of that. It's a lot of just kids being. I think here's what's frustrating to me, and I think I've said this a few times. The hostility that I think minors have towards adults in fan spaces is rooted in something valid. Yes. It is rooted in a genuine concern about people who could hurt them and such like that. I get that.
Yes, especially with all the things going on that we've seen online with predators, and
I think it is genuinely rooted in a desire to eliminate's the word I'm going to use, but like to stamp out a lot of this problematic content and to keep an eye on people who could be potentially dangerous. I think that's what's so frustrating, is that it's a crusade that to them is rooted in good intentions. It reminds me a lot of Hunchback of Notre Dame, like Claude Frollo, where like it's to him what he's doing is right, but he's just fucking murdering people.
He's like, by the way, such an underrated movie.
I think it is the right amount of rated.
Do you? Because I love it.
No,
I think it's
it's my favorite. Actually, Minister Frollo has been on the cosplay list.
Like, I know it's. Listen, when I say I love it, I don't love it for its historical accuracy or anything like that. Because there is none.
Because there's none.
But the theatrics, because we know I love mess and the theater and the music.
It's honestly one of my favorite Disney movies.
It
is 100% my favorite Disney movies. I love the soundtrack. It's fantastic.
Yes, it's so dark. Like, I watched it watching it as an adult and looking and being like, what the. I watched this as a kid and was not terrified. Actually, you know what? Maybe I was terrified.
The fun fact, I remember getting made fun of in school because I was raised Catholic, and it's like, you killed Esmeralda.
Yes.
Hellfire's great.
It's that song. It is that
Hellfire. But I don't think people give Heaven's Light enough credit. Because Heaven's Light is the major key, and then Hellfire is the minor key. So hearing that transition from Heaven's Light to Hellfire, people don't give that enough credit.
Music theory. Okay.
I told you I was in musical theater.
Giving us
theory. So what you guys really need to start doing is start listening to both, because they're actually on the soundtrack, it's one song.
Oh.
It's Heaven's Light and Hellfire, because there's a bridge break that's choral, because Heaven's Light is the major key and the minor depressive key that leads into the D Acida is Hellfire.
See, now I am gonna go and
we're watching Hunchback tonight.
So good.
Yeah, you 100% can hear me singing that while I'm baking. I work in a teaching sphere and there's no Yeah, like I mean, also like kids are shitty. Like, I'm definitely not disagreeing with that. Like, I think like specifically online, it's rooted in something valid. But like, also, you're correct. Just kids are shitty.
Yes.
Because I have a cousin who's
Yes.
12 years younger than me, and he's an asshat.
Yes. I will say, though, that I honestly, part of it, I think that I have reached that age where I feel like where I catch myself being like kids these days, but I have to remind myself all the time that kids honestly are not any worse than what they were when we were kids.
I will
just have
disagree.
they just have access to different things.
And that's what makes them worse, though.
But if our generation had access to those things,
but we didn't, so we can't say that.
We would still be
Aisha, we can't make that assertion. Yes, if they had this technology during World War I, we wouldn't have had Aisha. No,
listen, I'm just saying that people in general are shitty, and kids are not any worse than before. They're just
but
shitty.
They can ruin someone's life in a way that is completely. That's new. People have gotten fired because they ship fictional characters, and some fucking 16-year-old called their job and said they're a pedo. We couldn't do that.
Right, because we didn't have access. But just because you couldn't do it doesn't mean that you wouldn't. And to say that, because if these kids didn't have the access to the things that they have access to, they likely wouldn't do it, just like we didn't, because we didn't have the access.
I don't believe you. I think they would have found a way if it's fucking letters or something.
Well, okay, but then you can argue like there are definitely kids back in the day who were calling CPS on their parents for no reason.
I'm not scapegoating us.
Kids are trash.
I'm not saying that we were great. I'm just saying we're less shitty in comparison.
I disagree.
Okay.
Who Columbine? Do you remember that? Because I was
Aisha, I've forgotten.
So I'm just like, it's not changed. I don't think it's changed.
Okay, are we also using Columbine as a measuring stick, though?
Well, I'm just saying we were alive during that time.
Is that our divining rod?
I'm saying,
unrelated. I was watching a true crime show, and it was about Timothy McVeigh.
Oh God,
I know, triggered.
I'm from.
I know, that's why I was like triggered. But they were because no one ever like talked about him like as a person. It was just like he did the bad thing. I didn't know that he was at Waco when that whole thing happened, showing support and advocating for gun rights. And he wasn't put on a list.
Of course not. Why would he be?
And then like the Ruby Ridge thing happened, and like he was really concerned after Ruby Ridge. And then when Waco happened, he was there. Like he drove to Waco, which is not close, and was there showing support and like passing out flyers about like how the government is going to come take your guns. And he wasn't on a list of any kind. He just got to do this. But like the FBI be assassinating Black Panthers? Sorry, was that too?
No, it's the truth.
Did I get too real?
It's the truth.
Did things get to you? I love this. Stream Hunchback on Discord. Bitch. Don't test us. If I could figure it out, I will. I fucking love that movie.
I mean, maybe, I don't know. I think the difference is that we're not kids anymore, and so we're seeing things from the lens of adults. But like,
I think I disagree with you, because I think out of all the generations that are grounded in that, it's us. I do think that in ways kids are shittier.
I don't know. I think that we.
It also be that you're a mom.
Maybe I feel
like
I
have love. Like that's not like a scapegoat.
I feel like it puts me it gives me even more perspective because I'm a mom and I've been a kid and I'm an adult. So I have like a wider range, and also I don't know, because we just had my nephew over and he stayed the night, and it's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just the kids that I'm around, but I am not around like shitty kids.
And
like,
I think that's okay. Because I was gonna say like it also maybe that's feel like you're just because we've had that conversation about fandom. Where you're like, oh, that wasn't my experience. Like, well, yeah, but like you also don't engage in it.
Right. So it's not that. So again, it kind of proves my point, though, that kids aren't shittier. It's still just, it's all dependent on our experiences. Because for me, I don't think that kids are any shittier than they were when I was a kid.
But in that instance, can you trust your experience? Because That's
Yeah, because I know I was shitty.
Well, because think about America, because like we as a country have that problem. If you have not personally experienced a thing, it makes it hard to empathize with people who are going through it.
Yeah, but I think, and maybe you can. Well, you'll say. I think being because I usually don't like to say my blackness contributes, but in this case my blackness does, because I am black. I'm a black person who grew up in a very white town, so I had to have like empathy and compassion and understanding like immediately, because nobody looked like me, nobody. So you know what I mean, like it was very that was kind of what I immediately kind of had. So it's like, I don't know, I think it just,
but you're talking to other black person to do that. So I get what you're, it's like, again, like I get where you're coming from. I'm not really sure. I think it might be, honestly, I don't know if there is like a solid answer. Exactly. I mean, yes, that is the conversation. Yeah,
exactly.
Kids have always been shitty.
Always.
Yeah, like I think this is a weird instance where like neither of us are right, but neither of us are wrong.
Yes.
Because
yes, I will agree.
Because I do see where you're coming from, but at the same time, I think especially just like with the way technology is now, with the access they have now, it's allowed people to be a different kind of shitty that we couldn't have predicted for. Sort of like the invention of the atomic bomb. Like, yes, war was going to keep happening, but that brought on a different kind of warfare that we could not have planned for, and its invention, I think, made the world worse.
Right.
Sort of like that.
Yeah.
So is the world shittier? Not necessarily, but there was this paradigm shift that moved us in a direction that no one's really fond of.
Right.
And now we can't go back.
Oh no.
Like we can't just say no more nuclear war, because then what do we do with it all?
Right. We can't just say no more internet.
Yeah, we can't just say no more media. It's gone. You all can't be trusted. No more media.
Oh gosh.
You've all shown that you can't be trusted. No more. Taking your comic books away.
Oh gosh.
That was a good conversation. See, like you can have discourse that like you don't agree with someone and like not fight.
Well, we can, but apparently people on the internet can't.
I am so ready to fucking fight someone. I say that, I will probably cry. I had a nervous breakdown after getting canceled by guinea pig stands. Don't actually fucking at me.
This is something that I honestly...
I completely agree.
Completely 100%.
I don't know why.
Get behind.
I don't get it. It's honestly, it's a suicide machine.
It's honestly like a weird catch-22, because like this, at this point, it is so ingrained in like the social, like, so like I really avoided letting our oldest on social media. I was very against it, but it got to a point where it's like do I want my kid to be isolated? And
do you want to be that weird kid?
Yeah. And so it's just like, it sucks, because you really have to make that choice of do I like, I guess, protect them from that, or what? I don't even know. So he has social media, because like I had to choose. So it's like, you know what, I'd rather you be not completely weird than to, I don't know, be too freaked out about like the internet. And also we've had talks with him and we trust him. Like I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, but again, like you just said, like you're also like not a bad parent.
Yeah, I try not to be.
I love that I said like it's a question.
Like I try.
Sorry.
Not to be.
It's like I don't think that you're a bad parent.
Side note, right? It's weird. And then the people will talk. Like the parents will like type as if they're the kid. And it's like,
I also
kids on the internet, listen.
Is this gonna be like this is going to be very not PC of me, but
Mm.
please go with it. There was what it was back when I was dumb and watched Phil DeFranco. Everyone had a phase where they thought that Phil DeFranco was
before his show now, like back in the day when he was
like just vlogging and shit.
Yes.
Yeah, like I know. I used to watch Phil DeFranco. I also used to think that Daniel Tosh was funny. Because I was a 20-year-old white man. But back when Phil DeFranco like had his kid and he's like, I'm not posting pictures of my son online, so like people like don't say gross things about him. It's like, don't assume that everyone wants to steal your child. Some kids are ugly. Like, don't assume that like your kid's gonna be a John Benet Ramsey where everyone wants to murder your child. Don't assume that. You might have an ugly ass kid. Like, that's narcissistic.
I generally which I used to put my kids on the internet just because that was like that's kind of like what you did. Like I gave birth during a time when
Thank you for
Facebook
forgiving
was
me for
new.
Phil and Daniel Tosh.
Yeah.
I was once apparently a 20-year-old white man.
Oh my gosh. I
Cuties was
did
so
watch
bad.
it.
Yes.
I watched it. Honestly, like I know, okay. I did watch it, and while I was uncomfortable, I got the message. Like I understood what they were saying, like trying to say. And maybe it is because I'm a parent, but it is that like I understood where that little girl was coming from of like wanting to like wanting to be a child, be the child that her parents are like treating her as, but then also wanting friends and wanting to fit in and wanting to be popular and looking for love in a way, like affection and attention, because she wasn't really getting it out. It just it's a lot. I actually think that people should watch it.
I don't like how it handled some parts of it though.
Like again, it is uncomfortable. There are things that are very uncomfortable. And I'm not going to say that they were handled like perfectly, but I feel that it definitely opens up a good conversation about like the use of social media for like with kids and things like that.
I think it opens up a conversation for the right kind of person.
Not you.
Well, no, I think for me, it was more of just like, I'm not crazy about how they really framed it, especially around like culture and religion.
Oh.
Like that I really didn't like. That it's like, I'm free now, throws off like cultural significant thing. It's like, you didn't have to do especially considering like France's history of like Islamophobia and stuff like that.
That's fair.
Like, you didn't have to do it that way. I get where you're coming from. You didn't have to shit on it to do that.
Wasn't the director
Senegalese?
Yeah.
That doesn't make it okay.
No, I'm not saying it's okay,
yeah,
but I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it seems like maybe that was just her like perspective and
right, but like that's the thing though, is when you're producing then something. So okay, so in like circles, there's in group and out group. And obligatory mention of ContraPoints. She talks about this a lot in her cringe episode, where when someone cringes out group, like it's someone on the outside doing something gross, it's easier to laugh at them and mock them. When someone does something in group, especially if you're in an in group that already isn't super popular, you're more likely to react violently because now that person is acting as a poor representative of your in group. Think about all the people in the LGBT community who look at Caitlyn Jenner and want her to go away.
Right.
Because she's doing a bad job of representing an already maligned group. So for me, if you're going, yes, and I respect writing it from her point of view, but again, like you're then writing it for an audience who isn't just that.
Yeah.
And without the proper context around it, I hate that it was able to give literally anyone fuel to continue to perpetuate France's known history of Islamophobia.
Okay, yeah. Yes, I do see, like, when you put it that way, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, like
Because
I get it, but like, because you see that sometimes, like with movies about Catholicism, it's like I'm
Mhm.
done with being a Catholic schoolgirl, throws off rosary. It's like
Yes.
you didn't have to do that. Like you're not wrong, but you didn't have to. You didn't have to do it that way.
Right. Yeah, well, because it's the same thing within, like, I mean, as Black folks, we have conversations like this
Oh yeah, where we
all the
move out of the
time.
South, where you
Yes.
move out of your
Like,
mom's shack in Bumshart, Alabama, and you go to the city, and you and your light-skinned boyfriend or your whatever.
yeah, like
You're
that.
some Moore cosplayer.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I definitely get that though, because once you put it out to a wide audience, it
Mhm.
it
And without
changes
context.
things.
I think that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Without context. Because it's very like, I hate this now. It's like, you're not
Hmm.
giving us enough nuance to like, you're just saying that it's bad, but like it's not just bad. Some people like and
Right.
realistically,
Yeah.
there's never gonna be enough context. And I acknowledge that. Like there can never be enough context. But
Right.
like just without any context, and oh my god, so many writers do this.
Mm.
We're bad about it. Just especially again, like when we're in smaller groups, we will just throw shit out. Like, so if you really want to get me talking, the appropriation of queer language, because of the
Mm.
ubiquity of like RuPaul's Drag Race, that's
Hmm.
something that really pisses me off. When you have like Target moms like, yes, queen, work. It's like we had to invent a new language so you would stop murdering us. This is not for your t-shirt at Target.
Hmm.
Like, stop it, Belinda. Like, this is not why we're here.
Belinda.
Like, this is not why we're here. So, and like, I have a specific issue with RuPaul's Drag Race because there is such a diaspora of queens.
Hmm.
Sometimes they'll use words that we don't want straight people using,
Right.
like the F slur, which in
Hmm.
some circles is okay. I don't want a straight person saying that to me
Right.
because they think it's okay because they heard it from one queen on Drag Race and now
Hmm.
they're at Pride with their kid. Don't bring your kids to Pride. Sorry,
That's
got loud.
no, that's okay, because that is a thing that's concerning to me, like that people are
The
taking
amount
their
of
kids
children at
out.
RuPaul's Drag Race, RuPaul's Drag Con scares me.
Because
This is not for children.
I'm
It's
all
never been for
right. I'm
children.
all for, like, I'm all for my children being educated about just like educated about LGBT plus community and all of those things, but they don't need to be at like a con for adults.
Right. Like,
Um
and that
for
again,
adults.
so you talk about like minors in adult spaces. Let's bring it to the real world.
Mhm.
Conventions are having that problem with like ahego shirts, like those like hentai shirts, where it's like
Yes.
you can't wear those because there might be kids. What are they doing here?
Right. People will just like drop their kids off too. Like they'll
Yeah,
just like
don't fucking do
drop their
that.
kids off. Like that's something that I
Yeah, don't
like
don't.
I can't relate, because when I wasn't getting left nowhere. The one time I got left somewhere, it was my 13th birthday and I was supposed to be at a friend's house. And it was a group of us, right?
Mhm.
And we were allowed to, like, I was told, like, okay, you can go to see this movie, 10 Things I Hate About You, was a movie that we're gonna go see. And I was supposed to, like, the mom was supposed to stay with us, but she didn't. She let us stay in the theater, and I had never actually admitted that out loud. But so so that was the one time I was unsupervised.
Right, but like that's been a really really interesting conversation that conventions are having, where it's like,
Hmm.
oh, you can't wear these shirts because there might be kids. What are they doing here?
Right.
This was never a space for them.
Right.
And should it have to be? Like fan spaces and social media cons, even. Yeah, like they don't have to be child friendly.
Hmm.
And they weren't invented to be that. I do think
Right.
that there's room then to create something like that.
Yeah, of
I would
course.
love like a little like library cons and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like little one day conventions that are local. You get like one artist. That was mean.
Right.
That was mean. I'm sorry. You get one artist maybe a singular voice actor singular, you know. And you say that the theme is superheroes, and like you let kids wear
Mhm.
their like Party City costumes. Like that's fun. Like I think that's
Yeah.
fine. But,
I
like,
think that's a great
no,
idea.
don't take your kid to fucking Akon. Like,
Right.
usually don't drop them off. It's Dallas. Like,
Right. Yeah, it's
well,
just it's strange the things that
but I don't
parents
just
will.
think it's about adult because like I don't like making it about the porn shirts because I don't like the porn shirts either. Like I read a ton of porn. I don't like the porn shirts either.
Mm.
But like
Oh,
the fact that
I think she's talking about this.
oh, the removal. Well, no, I was
Yeah.
talking about the
Oh.
adult stuff part because
Oh,
it's
oh,
like
oh,
not necessarily that it's just adult. It's just I think for me it's more just sans children
oh. Mhm.
because I think that a lot of those spaces do have room for teenagers.
Mhm.
Maybe not all of them. Again, gauge maturity of said
Right,
teen.
yeah.
But like, because I know I was wild in some of those cons when I
Mhm.
was younger.
Right. But even as a teen, like the parent should still be there. Like, because you can take your kid, like your teenager, to a place and be there, but like not be in their business. You know what I mean? Like it's so easy. Like people need to, okay. I feel like there's this weird thing where it's like people either just let their kids just run around and do whatever,
Mhm.
or they're like helicopter parents. There is like a balance, like that some people just don't like.
Well, I think with fandom stuff, there isn't
Mm,
really a balance
really?
because
You think so?
it's so easy for that conversation to go left.
Mm,
It's so easy to just scratch that veneer and find something that isn't what you were going for,
mhm,
especially with the internet. So one of the things I love, and I think I said this on the podcast, so like especially in San Antonio, I'm kind of like the family friendly panelist. I don't
mhm,
fucking know how, but one of the early memories I have of that is there was this dad, and he was dressed as Switzerland from Italia, and his
mhm,
daughter was Liechtenstein, who's his little sister in the show, and it was the cutest
mhm,
fucking thing. I loved it. This dad was like big, former military. He didn't have to go this hard, but he did. And he's like, if
mhm.
my kid's gonna be into this, I want to know what they're getting into so I
Yeah.
can keep them safe. And like it also seemed to be like from a genuine place of like probably had like some tangential knowledge of anime, you know, it was like, oh, he
Mhm.
watched a Goku, you know?
Yeah.
But I love that he went that far because
Yeah.
again, like just the Hitalia fandom, it takes you half a second to go from, oh, this is cute and nice to, oh, that guy's getting
Mhm.
sodomized with a pipe.
Right.
Like it takes no time at all in that fandom to
Mm.
go from this is okay and fluffy to oh god that's a crime. So
Right.
I'm glad that he was there to vet that stuff. And
Yeah.
again, like
How
especially
old was the daughter? Did she
oh
look?
she had to have been like 8 or 9.
Oh, so it's really
I'm talking
young.
kid.
Yeah, like Phineas, like like
Yeah,
his
I'm
age.
talking like
Oh wow.
child.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't think that I will. I don't. I try not to say never, but like I can't see myself taking my youngest to a convention that is not specifically stated is for
Mhm.
children.
Yeah,
Because
in all
I
fairness,
just,
the one that I was referring to is a family friendly one. It was
okay.
hosted by so my school was a part of Mu Epsilon Kappa, which is a national
Mhm.
anime fraternity. This was our sister school.
Okay.
So we
Yeah.
always supported each other a lot. I still support them. I'll actually be doing their con at the end of this month.
Mhm.
We've supported each other for years. So
Right.
this one at least was more family
Yeah.
friendly.
And see,
Like
that's cool. Like that, like,
mhm,
and there can, and that's the thing is like, I feel like adults should have, like, we should have a space where we don't have to worry about like
exactly.
kids being there, and kids should all can have a space like for kids, you
Mhm.
know, or like families or whatever. Um, I wonder why that's, I guess just, I don't know why that's not a thing. I don't know why. I don't
It's
know
hard to
why.
do.
Yeah. But but yeah, no, for me, I'm not really keen on taking kids to convention. I think I would take Fox, my oldest. He's 15.
Yeah, he could probably handle it.
He could, I think he probably, yeah, I think he would be fine. And would probably want to like walk around, you know, without me, or whatever. But yeah, like younger than that, I don't know. Maybe 13?
No. That seems too young.
Right. Also, yes, this. Yeah.
Yes, that.
Yeah.
So, do you want to do some reading?
So,
Actually,
I
will be right back.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna grab my inhaler in case.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine. Don't worry.
Okay. She said she's fine, but oh my gosh. I'm gonna have a scar on my elbow, y'all. I hope this is entertaining, but a scar to remember my 35th birthday.
For those of you who don't know, it's allergy season in Texas.
It is.
So I'm fine. I just don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to perish on camera like that.
Aw. I used to be a weirdo who thought that like inhale. Like, I had weird like fetishes, I guess, that I didn't realize were fetishes because I used to think that braces were endearing and inhalers also. And glasses, like all of these.
You are a weird person. Okay. So, which one are we doing first?
Okay, so let's. Okay, so did you get it? Wait, hold on. What did you end up reading? Because I forgot like what I told you.
I for sure read The Cat Proposed.
Okay.
I read Puppy Play Volume 2.
Okay. So
do masks help with allergies? No.
They don't. I haven't had any.
What happens is the pollen sticks to the cotton, and then you take it off, and it's all there.
Yeah. Also, a lot of times, like my allergy, because like my allergies aren't. It's not just pollen. Too. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much crap. Just like, so yeah. I absolutely have a thing for nerds. I mean, I'm married. Wow. And I continue to surround myself with it. I have a harem of nerds.
Can confirm.
I love it. Okay, so we'll talk about The Cat Proposed first because I don't have a whole lot to say about it, and I feel like you might surprise me.
Okay.
Because I mean, you can go first.
You want to give the fans a synopsis first?
Oh yeah, sure. So The Cat Proposed is a story about a young man who is an office worker. He is he's depressed. He hates his job. He seems like he does not like his job. He's going through it. And on his way, I think he's going home. He ends up coming across this man who is doing a performance. What is the performance called? It's like what?
Hold on.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I was like, I thought you said hold on. And I was like, what? Hold on. Sorry, that like completely, I was like, what? Anyway, so he sees this man and he's intrigued by his storytelling. And things happen. Some supernatural elements pop in. I don't really want to give, I mean, the synopsis on the back just basically says that he sees something strange that happens, and he could have sworn that one of the actors had cat ears. So there is like this supernatural element that becomes more apparent and more prominent throughout throughout the story. Lots of it's yokai BL. Okay, it's very cute. So, Amanda,
yes,
your thoughts?
I wish this was 2 volumes. 1.
That actually, yeah. Okay.
because it was kind of a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And that might just be because I'm old now. I do kind of wish it was 2 volumes broken up.
Uh-huh.
We're not spoiling, right?
No, just in case, because I don't, yeah.
So, okay, so if we're not spoiling, I will say I almost wish this wasn't a romance.
You did surprise me because I agree. I agree with that.
Because I actually, this is something that frustrates me a lot, is I actually think the bones of this are kind of interesting.
Yes.
Because fun fact about me, the Bakeneko is one of my favorite creatures.
I knew you were going to surprise me. Sorry. I was
Aisha's over here just vibing. There's a lot to the bones that I like. I almost wish that they didn't have to shoehorn in this romance. Because it's very, one, not believable, and 2, it's just not satisfying.
Right. Yes.
It's not a satisfying romance. It's not well written.
No.
I don't care.
I don't believe it.
I think Hihashi the cat is great.
Yes.
I would love a whole story just about him fucking around. I think he's very dynamic.
Yes.
But they gave him this milquetoast uke who's an idiot.
I'm so happy. Okay.
Like I honestly, and I think like that makes me more upset, is that it isn't like puppy play where it's just like, I hate this and it's bad, we're done. Like I could like this. I could like this, but they had to shoehorn in this romance, and it's dumb and contrived, and it weakens the plot, and it takes up pages where you could be explaining this really fantastical world more. And I don't like that. Or maybe it needed to be longer. I don't know what it needed outside of not being a romance.
Right. I think the thought that just popped into my head is, I wish that they had been an established couple. Like, it would have been cool to see, like, instead of having the like, oh, they meet and they fall in love, just like tell me that they've been together, and we're getting a glimpse of this world through the lens of his human
maybe
bride.
That's why I wanted it to be longer, is because like if we maybe got more time with them.
Yes.
It's super, and I know that a lot of like shoujo romances like that. It's why I don't like it.
Especially when it's short.
Yeah, like, well, again, it's short for the circumstances. You're right. Like that length is great if we're coming in medias res in the middle of things.
Yes.
Where like they're already fucking married or whatever, and like there's just like a stumbling block to this, almost like some of those like mermaid isekais that you see, where like, oh, we've already been dating. I happen to be a mermaid, and now we have to go do some mermaid shit because you're just now finding out. Like, okay, cool, that's fine. Like that would have made that length make sense. But if we're starting completely blank slate, these two don't know each other, and now you have to set up this world, set up these creatures, set up this mythology, set up this relationship. It's just too much to do.
Yes, it's so much.
I can't think of a writer who could do that well. Like, that's not a ding. Like, I honestly cannot think of a writer who could have, with that, in
this
volume.
Yeah, this.
It's an enviable task. So I think this one frustrated me because I honestly think I could have liked it. It reminded me a lot of the things that I liked in A Strange and Mystifying Story.
Okay. See, I haven't read that one, but I've been curious about it. But
you know what? I like it because there's more of a turn in the relationship. Like, it starts off as very contractual, and I'm only doing this because I have to. The demon's a little bit more of an asshole, which is why I like him. But like, you see that Beauty and the Beast turn from like, I'm doing this as an obligation, to I actually like you, as opposed to just like, you're great, let's fuck.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not satisfying. So this one kind of frustrated me a little bit. Because
also, sorry. Sorry, I am like, my interrupting is on high right now. I don't know why I keep doing that. But also, I know this is like rated older teen, but like we didn't even get any kind like
Yeah,
no
y'all didn't have to.
steaminess.
Yeah, y'all didn't have
Like
to rate the older teen. There was nothing
like there
there.
yeah, because like there was nothing
There was
like
nothing there.
nothing, not even like a like a fade to like we got just it was like a tell not show. Like that's what we were. It was that was disappointing. But
Mm-hmm.
like I do feel like if you go into this not expecting like lower your expectations about the romance, like way down, but then like read it for the like yokai kind of, you know,
Yeah, if you treat it
the
like a bleak
atmosphere.
fanfic, it's
Yes. Like I think of because like you know Holic is my favorite series of all time. And
yeah.
I love that. Like that's one of my favorite things about it is getting to like experience the lore and like see how people how they move through this world. And this gave me that feel, you know,
Right.
like that like mysterious,
So
like
for me,
human
it
and
gave me that like Bleach Tsubasa feel.
yeah.
But,
Oh
like, those are things that I like.
yes,
So, like,
yes.
this one actually really like, the more I think about it, the more it frustrates me because
Mm-hmm.
I think the bones are good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I think the bones are good. I think where they're trying to go with the mythos is good. I
mm-hmm.
think the characters have a lot of potential to be compelling, but we don't get enough time with them. I think that's the big
Yes.
thing is
Yes.
for a book so big, it's a lot of wasted pages.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like maybe if they had focus, like they needed to choose, like, are you going to focus on the romance or are you going to focus on the world? I mean, now obviously if they had more time, then they could do
Yeah.
both, but like for just for this, or maybe they didn't know that it was gonna, maybe it was originally gonna be longer. I never,
Because
I
honestly,
don't
like the
know.
way that I'm thinking about this really should have been 4 volumes.
Right. Yeah.
It had a
At
volume of
least.
just
Yeah.
preamble. You
Mm-hmm.
needed 2 volumes to tell the main story, and you could have another volume of like conclusion. Like realistically, this
Yes.
would be like 3 to 4 volumes.
Right.
Like now
And
that I'm really
yes.
thinking about it, like structure wise, this really needed so much more setup
Mm-hmm.
than
Mm-hmm.
we got.
Yes.
We're not ignoring y'all's comments. We're just talking.
Right.
Sorry. Yes, the
Yeah.
Ochisan and Shane mystifying story is great. He's
Oh,
great.
really? Okay. See, I'm gonna.
It's weird. Like it's definitely like it's older and it's weird. It also
Mm-hmm.
goes on for like a bunch more volumes than I remember
Oh.
because it honestly feels like it could be just like a one shot. I didn't
Oh.
know it went on as long as it did. I have not read any of the new or the other volumes, but
Mm-hmm.
at least volume 1 I quite like. Definitely want to see more. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so
Yeah.
much. I also feel like the explanations that we get are kind of rushed.
Not even kind of.
They are rushed.
You're being you're being nice because
It's
very
like, yeah,
rushed.
we're just gonna deal with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that honestly again goes back to like okay, I don't obviously like I'm not there like watching to see what they're doing, but it makes me it gives me the vibes that they had to they didn't have enough time, like they weren't given they weren't given the time to really like do that
Do
or the
this
space.
justice.
Yeah, like
There
that's
is
how it feels.
okay, so there is one part that made me very much eye roll, and I don't think it's
Oh
a spoiler, so I'm gonna say it.
yeah, say it.
It's it's the main Uke, like he's not feeling well and he has like all this
Mm-hmm.
ennui and he goes to the doctor and the doctor is like, you have a burst blood capillary in your brain. It's like, so he's dead.
Yeah.
Like I rolled my eyes so hard. It's like, oh, you're so lucky to still be alive. It's like because he had an aneurysm. Like he's dead. Like don't I?
It's funny because like the whole time I was reading it, I like that's what immediately popped up into my head is like, oh, okay. So he's but like the way it was written, like I wasn't supposed to know yet.
I also like really okay. I guess it's also not a spoiler because like it happens like in the first chapter. So they frame this Uke's ennui really badly, like to the extent where like he's contemplating suicide via train.
Yeah.
And the way it's framed is so just dismissive. And I really don't like that. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I
Yes.
have an actual issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
There there are nets at the bottom of a lot of office buildings in Japan and in China, so people don't jump and die.
Yeah.
There's literal suicide nets outside of buildings. There's a suicide net around Tokyo Tower. Don't fucking write this off.
Mm-hmm.
This is a real problem. You're not going to use this as dramatic tension for your dumb cat fucking book.
Right. It's like, and I
have an actual problem with that.
I feel like maybe there would be less, maybe it would be less like, like cringe if we had more time again to like really get to know him and understand. Yeah, because like
you have a job,
like because we didn't get a chance to like really get to know him and understand.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like because to me it just seemed like you're just this guy and he's gonna step in front of a tree, and the only thing he's talked about is like his job. But it's like we don't like what are there's underlying things, mental health. Maybe like there's so many things we don't know.
Stuff that he's complaining about with his job is like stuff that everyone complains. Like it's something that's like extraordinary,
right?
It's like I worked this many days and I haven't had a break. No one's had a fucking break. Calm the fuck down. If that's the case, and there's no train running because everyone's jumping in front of them.
Yeah, I feel like if we had more time with him, I would have been less taken aback at that part because like I was not. I thought
also,
I wouldn't. Oh,
sorry, not to cut you off, but that can be solved by seeing a hot man tell a story. That's upsetting to me.
You know what?
I'm no longer suicidal because I got a boner.
Because ooh. You know, I have to sometimes when I'm like when I'm like sharing my thoughts about stories, I have to remind myself that like this is just it's the author's exploration of whatever was in their head. But sometimes I'm like
sometimes it's bad. Like that. Sometimes it's bad, Aisha. Authors aren't always good. Right, like the power of me. I'm no longer suicidal because I saw a hot cat man.
Who needs therapy?
Therapy. There's this hot cat man who told a nice fan fiction story. He's gonna fuck the sadness out of me. And really, they don't even do that. They don't even do that. I guess we hold hands until the sadness leaves, which is even less satisfying.
Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna hold hands, and I'm gonna give you a stupid nickname that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, Sparrow.
It's fine. I wish it wasn't a romance there.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely
it needed to be like 3 volumes longer.
I would say that I would read more of their work if they're wanting to do if they have more stuff that has this like setting or a similar setting but without the poorly written relationship. Mm-hmm. I would read this because I feel like they did everything else great. Like everything else, I was like, this is so interesting.
The story of Makineko really interestingly.
Yes, his backstory. I was like, oh my gosh,
I love some rest of the Meiji era because no one likes talking about it. Like again, like I think that's what's so frustrating. It does a lot of things right, but like the things it does wrong are so wrong that it like detracts.
Oh man,
like you don't fix suicidality by seeing a hot man tell a story,
right? Also, I will say that they are very cute.
No.
I think they are precious.
I think the Uke could be literally any character. There is nothing about him that's defining.
But TBH, so could he.
I mean, not false. Not so false. Cute. I think they're both very milquetoast. You're so right. Fuck both of them.
Like I like milquetoast.
Correct. Fuck them both. Both of their designs are trash. They could be anyone.
They're so cute. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I think overall, I don't regret reading it.
He's not my romance writing husband from Fruits Basket. It doesn't matter.
Oh, you know what?
He's not my husband from Fruits Basket, so irrelevant.
You know, That it doesn't surprise me that you like that man.
Can I help you? Is there something I can do for you?
I have issues with Sugar. I liked him the first time I read that series way back in the day. Mm-hmm. And then I read it as an adult and I was like, this man is trifling.
Oh, I'm sorry. As if the entire series isn't just trifling.
Okay, listen, everyone is, but like, he tries to act like he's not. And we're like, listen.
Like all the other adults?
I don't think the other adults hide it. They're all very okay.
What is Aya doing?
Okay. But they don't hide it. They all know they're trash.
Hattori's not hiding that he's trifling.
No, well, okay, Hattori maybe. Actually, okay, he is. He's hiding it a little bit. But the other adults.
Okay, Aya doesn't count. He's
and you know, Aya is a queen, and I love him. So
Aya is trifling personified.
Actually, I love him, and he can do no wrong in my eyes. I
love the Three Musketeers. They're great. I wish that the series was
TV. You know what, TBH? Oh, I want to reread Fruits Basket. I love it. Okay, anyway.
Isn't there a side comic that's just Three Musketeers?
Yes, there is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck Toru.
I love Toru. Wow.
She is nothing.
She is a very kind, warm,
he is one of the
loving, nurturing
that I actively wished harm upon.
Wow, I'm so the opposite. I love her.
To fall off a cliff.
Wow. I related to her. She is such a kind person.
She is
nurturing.
She is a bland piece of untoasted bread floating in the wind.
Wow. I don't listen. We're not gonna slander Toru.
Yes, we are.
We're not.
Do you want to talk about the other book now?
Do you
have any other thoughts on the cat propose?
No, it was fine. The cat propose is fine.
I'm not gonna say
I just remembered that I was thinking about it and I was like, oh wait, actually I didn't pay for this because, well, technically I did because it came in the Yaoi crate box, but like it's worth it because all the merch is really cute.
Yeah, like the merch is super cute.
Yeah, and the box is really cute, and I like the story. I will keep it because why not? And yeah,
so yeah, I'm not gonna throw it away.
No. So the other ones, okay.
The other one singular.
Yeah. So I went ahead and read 3, and I'm gonna read 4. Amanda, listen, I know that you don't want to read anymore, but like eventually I need for you to read the other, because the way that anyway, so Puppy Play with Papa, we both read the second installment. We've talked about the first installment before. And so to give y'all like a reminder.
A man is forced into sexual slavery because of work.
Yes. Uh-huh. And this is
everyone just runs with it.
This is very much okay. I am reading this almost as if it's like, excuse me, it feels very absurdist. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's something, well, you know, somebody might be reading it and like really getting their rocks off. For me, no. I find it more like entertaining in that way where it's like, oh my God. like a train wreck that you can't look away from. And, or you know how like whenever car accidents happen and people be like looking and you know that they're nosy, that's how I feel. Like I just can't, it's so like wild to me, and I am entertained. I'm not gonna say that I'm like, ooh, I enjoy it, but it's entertaining, and just I'm like, what's gonna happen next? Mm-hmm. What is he gonna go through next? Mm-hmm. What the heck is it? Because y'all, this man, like Amanda said, he gets turned into a sex slave for work, but it's like he has to he does puppy play. He pretends to be a puppy. It's like a
Mm,
kink thing.
it's not true puppy play as Westerners know it.
Okay, that's
Because
yeah.
I'm
That's
starting to
fair.
take kink umbrage because this
Mm.
is not true puppy play.
Yeah, you know what? And I haven't looked into it that much, but I definitely can at least say that you are correct in that for
Like
sure.
it's more just like a weird kink, which is
It's a
fine.
yes, it is
Which is
very much
fine.
a
It's a
yes.
weird like lifestyle kink, which
Like yes.
almost like daddy daughter, more like that a little bit, where it's more
I'm
just
trying not to
like
make faces. I'm trying to not
it feels
kink
more like that,
shame.
where like it's just like a very very light kink that everyone's agreed with.
Mm.
Because
I
it's not
mean,
true puppy play. Like true
it's
puppy play gets a little bit more intense.
yeah, this is and maybe it'll get because this is still ongoing. Like I said, I've read the third one and I just bought the fourth one. Because the third one I feel like it's gonna we'll see. But so yeah, this man is I don't know if you know okay, you probably noticed this, but like his name is Inubo.
Inobo?
Inu?
Yeah.
Inu? Isn't that dog? Isn't that
Aisha, we talked about this the first time we talked about it.
did we? Oh,
Yeah, I
okay. And
complained about
Neko.
it for a long
Oh,
time.
okay. We
Aisha really
did.
thought you discovered something.
Yeah, I was like, wow, how did I not notice this before? Those are the kind of things that I laugh about. I find that humorous. I know that it's tired and like so just
It's
ridiculous,
also
but I love
tired
it.
because it's an inversion on the joke about Inu being Seme to Neko being Uke.
It's just funny to me.
It's tired. It's fucking
Also,
tired.
I haven't read a whole maybe that's the thing too. It's like because in the ski well, let me not say that I haven't read a lot of older BL that it feels like this series is kind of
Contrived.
yeah.
And that's fine. You know what? And I've had to really come to terms with that because
Mhm.
one of the big issues that I'm finding that I'm butting against in like modern fandom is
Mhm.
I'm old.
I'm older, but okay.
Well, but old is in like I've been doing this
Yeah.
for a long time. So when newer anime comes out, it already has to fight against such a barrier for me. And again, like I've
Mhm.
said this a million times, I came up in the golden era of anime in America. My firsts were things like Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop, Trigun. I
Mhm.
had some of the best as a first, which means when these kids come along with their firsts and they're very excited, I have a hard time matching that enthusiasm.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
also like a literal media critic. So, not just that I'm jaded by all of the ennui of having some of
Mhm.
my first being so good, I'm also old and I'm used to looking at this stuff from a different lens, anyways.
Mhm.
So, if this is someone's first series like this, be free.
Mm.
I'm not saying it's bad in that
That's a
regard.
good point.
For
Yeah.
someone like me who's been doing this for a while, this is tired, contrived, and I'm
Mhm.
exhausted.
Yeah,
But
that's a
I've
good
also
point.
been
Mhm.
reading this shit for 15 years.
Right. And
It
also
just
not to mention you
go
are
ahead.
into fan fiction and stuff like that. So
Yes.
like you've seen, like you've
Yes.
seen some
Yes. I've seen some
yeah.
fuckery. So
Yeah.
I think that's something that I'm slowly starting to come better to terms with because I
Mhm.
knew, but like I used to double down and get hostile about it. I'm trying not to do that as much because
Mm.
I think I said this like about My Hero Academia a bunch of times. If that show came out when I was 16, I'd be insufferable. It'd
Mhm.
be my favorite show. I'd know all the character names. I'd know all the dumb quirk stuff because that was right up my alley. Like it's right up my alley. But like watching it now at like 30, it's like this is fucking trash.
Mhm. Yes.
Like
So,
there's
yes.
so so volume 2 of Puppy Play with Papa,
Mm.
they have the audacity to try to do some character building.
I really just I really need
The
you
straight
to.
up audacity to try to do some character development. There's piss in this one.
There is.
No, that's not your thing.
I was. It's not my thing, and that is kind of when that happened. I was a little sad that it happened. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because like, I love like outdoor scenes, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
The pee ruined it for me. I was upset.
For me, it wasn't the omodashi that ruined it. It was how it was done. Again, like, it's just contrived. It's like it's just such a I've seen
like,
that scene.
Oops, I forgot to pee.
I've seen that scene 30 times. And it's stupid, and I hate it, and it's dumb. These are grown-ass men that you're treating them like they're children. But yet we're supposed to sexualize them like they're grown-ass men. That's something I'm increasingly having a problem with the uke, is that this is a grown-ass man.
That's being yeah.
That we are consistently supposed to treat, one, in a very feminine way, which is sexist and gross, and two, in an increasingly infantilized way.
You know what? And the what's his face? The Neko guy, he's younger.
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah, so there is this like age, not like major age play, but there is like kind of like
but
this.
He gets to be an adult.
Right. Well, and I think that's probably what they're like, oh, let's make, because like there is a subset of people who like the whole like old or the younger. Wait, what am I trying to say? The younger one is like the more competent one, but this is,
but that's
to an
not
extent,
about that. Like,
right?
They infantilize
this
UK character
who is also supposed to be a dad,
who's also a father.
Yeah, he's also
leaving his kid places.
Like, I don't know where his kid is. Like, because
he mentions like, oh yeah, I only see my kid on the weekends. Where is your child, sir? His mom is dead.
Right, because I forgot that the mom was dead until like I was reading this.
And he still wears his ring, which is just sad. Like, it's so, to me, and I know like Aisha's talked about this, that like she loves that I'm the person who's like giving everything thought. I want rights for this uke, because it's like, how sad are you that you're still wearing your ring? It's like, so what sad. Conversations are you having with yourself every day? That like you get up in the morning, you like, slap your cheeks, and you are still wearing your wedding ring every day? Still?
I think I would, but I'm also obsessed with
like, but that's
my partners.
But like, I'm not saying that that's negative. Like, I'm not saying you should take it off, but like, that's sad. And if we don't get to examine that, we don't get to understand that.
Just like,
we don't get
like
to
what?
See any part. He's stripped of any complexity because he's supposed to be a cock sleeve.
Right. And that's kind of where it's like, I would say because we both read critically, but in different ways, if that makes sense. Like, I think we, and so for me, I'm like, I'm looking at this from a perspective of like, I know this is some ridiculous smut. So I'm like, okay, this is how, and you're like, but wait, like, but the story, I want the story. I want a good story. And I'm like, how's the smut?
But okay, so this one also is starting to have that problem that I had a little bit with the Capra Pose, is that like, this art shouldn't be so good for a story this shit.
The art is
because I
really
love the
good.
Anatomy. I love the way things are drawn. The dicks all look good.
They look so good.
Everything looks great.
The smut
is some good anatomy. I love when eyes turn to hearts. I love that shit. Please don't think that I am nothing but like Anton Ego from Ratatouille. Like, yes, the vintage cock. Thank you.
Right. No,
like,
but
I can get down with being Miss Dick Pig Intercontinental.
Yes.
I'm fine with that. But like, this is just stupid.
Do you have to give us? I've said this before too. It's like, sometimes you can just give us smut,
right,
without like a plot. Like,
yeah,
I'm
like,
fine with that.
I think I was more upset when they tried to add story back. It's like,
because like no. I just
yeah, because like when it was just like, yeah, we're gonna make this man humiliate himself and pee in public and then fuck. Okay, cool. Like I still don't like it, but whatever.
I'm
like,
entertained.
oh, I think I'm learning more about you. What did you learn? What has anyone learned? What has been learned? Learned what? Learned what where?
The fact that they're listen, I'm telling you, the third one, like it just it takes it.
This is why I brought my inhaler over here because I knew it was heated.
It takes a turn. I'm gonna absolutely here. At the end of the day, let me just say that this artist is gonna get my coin because I am going to continue reading this story because it is like I got to know what happened. I got to know where they're taking this. I'm not going to sit here and say that everyone should read this. I absolutely no. I don't
quit. I would quit the show.
Right. I can't.
I would turn off this camera and go back to playing Animal Crossing if you said
I cannot say in good faith that everyone should read this, but I think that if you are like me and you enjoy just like weird, like ridiculous.
I will say, I think honestly, it's too problematic for that.
Really?
Aisha, he's sold into sex slavery.
I mean, I don't.
Aisha!
Listen, adults can read it and tell that it's like, it's not good. I'm not, obviously not. Listen, it is not a story that I would give to a teenager.
About a fictional character who was mean to his kid that one time.
Well, they're
not gonna like a guy.
Then they don't have to read it.
They're not gonna read a series.
They don't have to
about a man who was literally cucked into sex slavery.
Yeah, they don't. I'm saying that people who like they don't have to read it. I'm recommending it to people who would.
But by calling it weird, I think you're underpinning that it's remarkably problematic. I think you might be introducing this to an audience who isn't ready for it.
I don't know. I don't know. I listen, I've seen what some of these people will be reading and talking about. I think the majority of folks are old enough to and aware enough to know, like, from the description, if anything that we said about this does not appeal to you, then don't pick it up. But if anything that we described makes you think, what the fuck? I want to read that.
What I mean more is like the themes of it, I think, especially because of the way it's handled, could be high-key triggering.
Oh, well, yeah, trigger warning, of course. Yeah.
I think that's more of what I'm getting at, is that, like, especially because of the way it's framed, it could be very high-key triggering for people because it is sexual assault. It is rape. It is sexual coercion. It is literal sex slavery. But because it's framed as like, this is just a thing that's happening, like that could take it from okay, well, this is dark and like a hard theme, but I can get over it, to, oh, someone's laughing at my pain.
Yeah, I can see that.
So yeah, like, I'm not trying to say that like people are dumb, but like, I think that's, I'm this might be the one that I'm most cautious about, just because, yeah, like I can see that for some people going in and being like, oh, this is a whole ass problem. Like this is an issue, and I would not fight anyone who feels that way.
Right.
Because it's easy to say like, oh, well, it's just absurdist and it's silly. But like, no, like if you're going through it, like this is high key disrespectful. Like I had an issue with the cat proposed minimizing suicide attempts that are fixed by magical cat boners.
Hey.
Yes. Hi.
Sorry, I didn't even see. Anyway.
No. And suddenly he wasn't racist anymore. Like you just fix it. Like, no. Like it's not okay.
I would definitely say that if it's read it at your own risk. Like read it at your own risk. If it's something
I think you said it best when it's like, if anything of what we've said and you're still interested, go.
Then go ahead. Right. If
I don't know if this is a title that I would like. If I like, apropos of nothing, if someone's like, "Should I read this?" No.
Yeah, if a person, especially if I don't know their taste,
exactly.
Like if it's not something that I would
like
yeah.
if we're living like the Yaoi Shelf experience and it's like 2011 and we're like at fucking Borders and like someone flips this over and asks like, "Hey, do you recommend this?" No, I do not.
Right. Yeah, if someone just comes up to, if someone is like tweeting at me like, "Hey, do you recommend," which TBH, just to be fair, I very rarely I don't actually do recommendations. I think people take things as recommendations, but I don't recommend things because I don't know your tastes. You know what I mean? Like I just say what I like, and then
Asia, that is such like pageant language. Hi, Matt.
Anyway, but no, I like to be clear because I'm just sharing things that I like. If someone reads it, that's on them. Like I didn't make you read it. I didn't buy it for you.
I will not support you using this fucking beauty pageant language.
I'm using it.
No,
I'm using it.
As someone who is in beauty pageants, I do not support this.
I'm using it because listen,
I do not support you using this beauty pageant language.
Listen,
just
don't blame me.
No, I'm blaming you.
Don't blame me if you read it and you don't like it.
Take responsibility. No, this is
responsibility for
your fault.
Reading something that
because you have an audience and you've built yourself as an authority and people listen to you. Bye,
no. I listen. I disagree. I have not built myself as an authority. They all know. People know. I read what I want to read and I talk about it. And you're adults and you can decide if you want to or not. That's not my problem.
Aisha, you sound like a person who has built a cult but refuses to call it a cult.
It's not.
We're just a close conglomeration of friends who listen to everything that I do, and sometimes they give me money, and it's okay. It's a real chill time.
But like, the difference is that usually cult leaders are like, "Oh yes," like, and I'm just over here like, "Listen, I guess if y'all
they are when people are
follow
watching, it's like, no, we're just friends."
I'm over here like, I don't know y'all. Like, what are we talking about? Friend? Like, I don't know y'all. What are y'all
doing? Oh my god, you're terrible. They should know, not like this. They should know. But yeah, that was Puppy Play Papa Volume 2. I mean, it sucks because the art's gorgeous. The anatomy is great.
The art is gorgeous. See, no, don't. You're just making it worse. Do not. We're not.
I would not join Aisha's cult. She cannot take care of herself, which means that she cannot take care of us.
What do you mean? I take it. Don't do me because I have 2 children who I take care of very well.
Aisha, you have a robot vacuum
and plants that are
plants
well taken care of, and cats. So
to be fair, cult leaders are normally men with vague hygiene problems. That is correct.
Exactly, and I am
a woman who recently mummified herself in silver. Yeah, she's in a kiddie pool, mummified right now. Her followers are keeping her.
Wait, okay. I'm going to Google. Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a cult leader who right now, she passed away and she's being mummified in the kiddie pool of liquid silver. Don't ask why I know this information. I'm not a serial killer. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to figure out, how do I Google this? What the heck?
It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a serial killer. Everything's just fine.
Did this happen in Colorado?
It did.
Of course it did. Of course it happened there. That's so weird. That doesn't surprise me at all. Oh no.
Yeah, she's mummified in a kiddie pool of liquid silver. As you do. As you do.
Wow.
Colorado indeed in the house, a state that I've never been to.
I really enjoy Colorado. I have family there. But also I feel like Colorado it's not like, it's definitely nowhere near Florida strange, but Colorado is one of those places where it's a lot of like white people who
White people wildin'.
do some weird stuff. So, wow. Interesting. I mean, that's also
Oh,
John
I'm
Bonet.
also contractually obligated to say to any of our listeners in the
Mm.
Northeast, please do not eat the cicadas.
Huh?
Oh, thank you for joining us.
Good night.
Uh, so they have a giant cicada brood that just hatched. That's rumored in the billions.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the cicadas are infected with a fungus that makes their butts fall off, and but that fungus has some psychotropic substances to it. So people have been trying to get high off of the cicada butt fungus. So please don't eat them. Trying to get high off the cicada butt fungus. Like I'm contractually obligated to say that.
People are really going through it. I think
That they're trying to find mushrooms in cicada asses. Yes.
like people are really going through it.
Like every part of that sentence is its own Wilden.
Like
Every part of that sentence in and of itself is a problem. Yeah, please don't try to get high by eating the because the fungus also makes the cicadas like butt fall off. Like it's a very aggressive zombie parasite that fucks up the cicada until it dies. So yeah, don't eat infected cicada butts hoping to
you
get
know
high off
what?
of it. Yeah.
I mean, people were eating Tide Pods at one point. So it doesn't surprise me that people are out here eating. I'd rather people eat bug butts than.
But we don't know what that could do to the human brain because it kills the cicada.
Yeah. I mean,
so I can't recommend eating the cicada butt.
I don't recommend eating like just random bugs.
They're actually super advocating that you eat them though, because there's literally billions.
Right. I think eating bugs is fine, but just I wouldn't go out like outside and just catch a random.
No, they're saying do that.
What?
Yes. There's billions of cicadas, Aisha. Billions. They've been asleep for 17 years. What else are we supposed to do with them? The Washington Post submitted recipes for how to eat them.
I am not taking my ass outside to catch some fucking alive ass cicadas.
Yes.
And do like
they're best when they're fresh out of their little shells.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I would eat it if someone else prepared it already.
That is the blackest statement.
Like it has to be already prepared, and I will sit and eat it. I'm not going outside and picking up and catching cicadas.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. For food. The Washington Post encourages you to fry them.
Everything's better fried.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's not the bug eating, it's the act of catching going cicadas outside to do that. Like, okay. Who is doing that? I'm not doing that.
Be shocked.
Wow.
So yeah, don't get high off of infected cicadas.
Oh, that was this our lives always.
I am contractually obligated to say that as your yaoi father.
Just like, how did we get here? How did we get here talking about bugs? What were we talking about?
Oh, I just threw that in.
Oh my gosh, that is their butts fall off?
Yeah. Because of a parasitic fungus that delivers psychotropic chemicals to their brain that makes them incredibly horny and more prone to reckless behavior, which is how the parasite fungus can spread.
Oh, and so that's why people are wanting to eat it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the psychoactive and psychotropic chemicals in the fungus.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what that's going to do to a person. And it's also killing cicadas.
Right.
So if it's killing the host,
maybe don't
fucking try to smoke it. You are welcome, my child.
I'm picturing, like, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if I looked out my window and I saw our neighbors like walking around picking up.
Well,
cicadas.
They're not down here. This is a northeastern. So we have yearlies, 10, 13, and 17 year broods. That's a 17 year brood up in like Appalachia, getting into Yankee territory.
Oh, well, that's why they're talking about eating it. Okay.
Aisha, we eat nutria down here.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what a nutria is? So a nutria is think of it as a beaver, but without the tail. But the tail is like a rat. They're a swamp rat.
I mean, I've eaten squirrels and rabbits.
So we have nutria. And they were introduced as a fur substitute because we killed all the beavers, and by we I mean the French.
Yeah.
So nutria were introduced. There was no way that anyone could kill them fast enough, and now they're everywhere. And they're huge, and they build dams, and they fuck shit up. So it's very much encouraged to eat them.
Oh, they're cute.
Sure. They're also food.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a problem with and like I said, I grew up country though. We ate everything, but I've just never heard of it. I guess we don't have those here in Oklahoma.
We also don't have water for it to
Oh yeah, you
don't have water to survive in.
Sure do not. We have a lake.
Yeah,
a couple of lakes.
You have a lake you share with us.
We have more than one. We have more than Lake Texarkoma or whatever, Texoma, whatever it is.
Did you just try to make this also with Arkansas? Aisha, that's not how states
Well,
work.
I forget because I live near Texar. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it's
You're
confusing.
closer to Texarkana.
Yes, Texarkana. Yes.
Yeah, and my family was closer to Texoma.
Yes, and I get them confused, and I don't like.
Even though they're very different.
I think they're the same.
I mean, okay, as in they're both border cities that are weird. Yes.
But
from the Texas perspective, they're very different.
Oh, okay, yeah.
From the perspective of the respect, from the outside perspective, they're the same. By Texas standards, those are completely different entities that could not be further apart from each other.
And then Oklahoma is just like in the center of all of, like, it's interesting how, at least where I am anyway, I should say my part of Oklahoma.
Are y'all ever going to get rid of Reed Drummond?
I don't know. It's not, you know what? Some of us have tried, but.
Are y'all ever going to get rid of Reed Drummond? Has there been a council meeting on what to do with her?
Some of us have tried, and you know,
I don't like her. I don't like her at all. So I just Googled the drive. Yeah. Texoma is like 3 hours from Texarkana.
That makes sense. Excuse me. And I'm oh my gosh.
This is why that's why I got my inhaler, so I didn't die on camera.
I should have got water. Or more water. Yeah, I think our town, Best Buy.
Yes, Aisha?
Oh, I guess Matt's running to Best Buy. He just like texted me. It was like, oh, okay.
Tell him to bring me an HDMI cable.
Oh, do you need one?
No, I'm kidding. I'm
fine. Oh. I was like, okay.
No, fine. I have Amazon Prime now. I can do anything I need to.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm going to look this. Hold on. Start. Oh no! Ah, don't talk, girl. Don't do that. It was talking. Let me. Okay, so yeah, 3 hours, and then let's see. What's the other one? Okay. Oh, so yeah, I basically it is the same distance or roughly the same distance, both of those cities from where I live.
That's fair.
It's interesting. Yeah, that's so interesting. Huh. Yeah, like oh wow, I literally live it's like a triangle from where like you can make a triangle. That's I'm very entertained by this. Um oh, because I
Aisha,
have to go
Aisha, please, not like this.
I have to go through Texoma to get to Dallas.
Yeah, it's a border. It's a border city.
Oh.
But I hope that you guys enjoyed our last episode. Next episode, we're going to be talking about headcanons, which I'm super excited to talk
Yes.
about. Especially from a discourse standpoint. I think
Mhm.
headcanons are great, but like all things, the children have ruined it.
Mm. Wasn't this a suggestion that y'all kind of brewed up in the
We
Discord?
did. It was something I
Mm.
started thinking about, and I pitched it to Discord, and it's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
So head on
and
over to the
then-
Discord.
Yeah, and then I get to start planning on what we do for July because now I have to return the favor.
I mean, you know, I'm pretty easygoing, so I'll read whatever.
This
No
is true.
complaints. I mean, I'll complain once. Well,
I'll just say you will complain.
I will complain if. Well, we'll see. It depends. But I am excited. Do your worst.
See, the thing is, I can't do my worst because my worst triggers you.
That's fair.
Like, you get a safe harbor. Like, either way, I'm throwing a softball at you.
Well, yeah. Okay, we'll see what you do. I'm ready though. Look at us both like dying on camera.
I know.
It's a sign.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap things up, guys.
Sorry, y'all. I'm like starting to itch and sweat. Our air. I'm not even talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
We thank y'all so much. Do we do this at the end of the live? Yeah, we do. Where can they find us?
You can find us on Discord, YouTube, Twitter, all at the Yaoi Shelf.
Yes.
You can find us individually, literally by Googling these things.
Yes. It's very simple.
It is.
So we appreciate y'all for being here.
We do.
As always, yes.
Yeah, I'll see you guys in Discord.
I will be lurking every now and then. So
we're gonna go take a break to breathe now.
Yes, bye. We love you.